Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan, and welcome to part 3. Hang on. Okay. Hi. Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan, and welcome to part 3 of how to make a sand simulation 100% in Scratch. Last time we left off with the ability to draw. Yay! And we can erase, and we can draw different colors. We only have actually 2 colors. Which is kind of lame, but anyway, today what we are going to be doing is actually doing the simulation. Yay! Okay, so, we are going to be actually starting to work on simulating these sand particles. Now, how do we simulate sand particles in a grid? Well, we'll just make it up on the way as we go. Okay. So let's first of all, I'm gonna hide the current brush variable because we don't need it right now. Because actually it tells you which brush you're using just based on the mouse color, as you can see. Anyway, okay. So how are we gonna start animating, or I guess start the simulation, right? So first of all, I want a way to pause the game. So pause the simulation, I guess. So at the very beginning, inside our setup vars, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set let's just reset the variables. So we're gonna set the we're gonna go ahead and set the current brush, right? Current brush to let's start with stone, so that would be let's start with sand, so that would be 2, right? And let's also set the I think that's it actually. So yeah, so just make sure to reset your variables at the very beginning of the project. Okay. So now let's actually start simulating. So let's go to My Blocks. Let's create a new block called Simulate Particles. Yeah, okay. Simulate Particles, run without screen refresh, click OK. Okay, so Simulate Particles, what we're going to do is we are going to loop through every single item in the list. Actually, let's first of all drag the Simulate Particles underneath the erase all above the render grid. Okay, simulate particles. Okay, so what we're gonna do is where's one of those repeat loops? One of those repeat loops that repeat world height. Yeah, here's one. Okay, so we can just duplicate this world height world width loop and delete everything inside it. And okay, so let's stick this right under here. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a counter. So let's go ahead and set not grid size. Let's set I to 1, and at the end here change I. Not mouse ID. Change I by 1. Okay, perfect. So this will loop through every single item in the grid, right? Okay. Now let's create new custom blocks for every. Okay, this sometimes happens. Yeah. Okay, let's create a block to simulate the sand. Okay, so go to My Blocks, create a new block, call it simulate dash sand. Let's run without screen refresh. Yeah, let's run without screen refresh. Okay, so simulate sand. What are we gonna do here? Well, it's actually pretty simple. What we're gonna do is let's just make it fall first. So if item 1, or if item I of grid is equal to, what's the sand? 2, right? So if item I of grid is equal to 2, then what we're going to do is we're going to simulate our sand particle. Let's move this down here. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, it's actually not too hard. So we're going to drag an if-else. So first of all, if drag an equal, if item I of grid, if item I plus grid size, not grid size, sorry, world width, if item I plus world width of grid is equal to, if it's not equal to 0, so drag a not. So if not item I plus world width of grid is equal to 0, then that means underneath us is a solid block. So actually we don't need this knot, so get rid of the knot. Oh, that's a mistake. Okay. So we have this condition, which will check if the tile below us is solid or not. And inside the if, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and replace item I of grid with 0, meaning we'll just empty out the grid item above us, right? And we will also replace item I plus world width of grid with 2, right? Because that will make it fall, right? So it goes down 1 pixel. Okay, let's test that out. That does not seem to be working. Ah, okay. I don't have simulate sand inside my simulate particles. Of course, okay. Simulate sand inside here. Okay, that was really quick. Okay, I have created a very fast sand simulation. Why could that be? Okay. As you can see, it is working. It's finding the floor, right? But this is not what I had in mind, right? So let's try and fix this tiny bug here. I think I know the problem. Okay, so right now we are simulating the sand, right? So we are going through every single item, and then we are checking if this particle here is a sand particle. However, once we move that down, we are going to loop through like this, right? We're going to loop through one more time like this. And now, the sand particle's right here, right? So, that means we're checking it again. And that means we're just going to loop it all the way down to the bottom of the screen we're going to loop it to the bottom of the screen right away. So we don't want that. We're going to change that a bit. So how do we fix that? Well, all we need to do, honestly, is we just have to create another list. Let's call it previous grid. And click OK. Okay, previous grid is just going to be the same grid, just before altered. So, inside simulate particles, at the very top, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new block, reset previous grid. Run without screen refresh, click OK. So inside we're going to stick this right above everything else here. So reset previous grid, all we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set I to 1, and then repeat length of grid, change I by 1. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to replace item I of previous grid with the current grid. So with item I of the current grid. Now, of course, we have to set our previous grid at the very beginning, so all we're going to do is inside setup grid, we're also going to go ahead and add 0 to previous grid. Okay, and oh yeah, make sure to delete all of previous grid at the very beginning. Okay, so this just makes a copy of our grid list, right? So yeah, okay, great. Now we can use this to actually simulate our proper particles. So inside here, all we're gonna do is we're gonna say, instead of if item I of grid equal, no, that's fine. Inside that, this if item I plus world width of let's see. No, that was right. No, the first if. Previous grid. So if item I of previous grid was equal to 2, then do this. Okay, so that should work, maybe? Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. So, bam, okay. Now we have a stable-ish sand simulation. As you might notice, sand is supposed to, like, pile up instead of doing whatever this is doing. So, what we're going to do is we're going to simulate left and right movement. How are we going to do that? Well, that's pretty simple. What we're going to do is we can just duplicate this if condition. If item I plus world width plus 1 of grid is equal to 0, that means moving 1 to the right. then we can just do the same thing, but instead of replacing I plus world width of grid, we can just replace I plus world width plus 1 of grid. Perfect, okay. So, now what we can do is we can stick that in there. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so now it's piling up to the left. Now I kind of want it to pile up to the right as well. So, let's also do that. So, let's go ahead and duplicate this if condition. And instead of +1, we can just replace this with a -1. So I plus world with -1. That would be the left pixel. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, like that. Okay, perfect. Let's stick that right in there. And let's see if that works. Yeah, okay, so now as you can see, it is piling up like sand should. Now, I'm noticing something. Not that it's doubled up. I'm not sure how to fix that actually, so, yeah, sorry about that. I kind of want it to be able to go either left and right instead of just one direction. As you can see, once you pile up a bit of sand, it always goes to the left first, and if it can't find anything to the left, it'll go right. But I kind of want it to be kind of random. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. Let me hide the previous grid list, one sec. Previous grid, hide that. Okay. So, let's actually go ahead and duplicate this if here. Get rid of the else here. And let's get rid of this if here and stick this inside the else here. Now, what we're going to need is an and, right? To pick a random number between... We're going to need to check if both sides are out. If both sides, you can move both ways, it'll pick a random one of those two. So, let's go ahead and duplicate this bottom condition here. And let's stick that on this side of the and, stick this one on this side of the and, like this, and stick this all into the if here. So this should be item I plus world width plus 1 of grid equals 0, or and item I plus world width minus 1 of grid is equal to 0. This should check if both sides to the particle are moved to. It'll pick a random one to move to. Now, all we have to do is just grab an if then else. If pick random 1 to 10 is equal to 1, or if pick random 1 to 2 is equal to 1, we can just replace item I of grid with 0, replace item I plus world with plus 1 of grid with 2. If not, we can just duplicate this condition down here, replace item blah blah blah, replace item I plus world with minus 1 of grid with 2. Now this should make it look a bit more natural. That's not what I expected. Why is that? Why is that happening? Oh, okay, I forgot to stick this in here, okay. Okay, there we go, okay, so now we have a pretty nice, actually, a pretty nice sand simulation to go by. Okay, so, now we have sand working, and it actually, so if I switch it to the stone, it will actually go around the stone. As you can see, it'll pile up on the stone, which is really nice, because now we have an actual working sand simulation instead of just a drawing tool. Okay, so, yeah, okay. How much time do we have left? I kind of want... Okay, we have time to add water. Okay, water is going to be an interesting challenge, because we also have to make sand go below water. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and start with the water. So first of all, to add a new brush, we need to do if inside this when green flag clicked, set current brush to current brush plus 1 mod 4 instead of 3, because then we have an extra pixel. We have a different type of drawing tool. Just drink some water. Okay. Hydrated is important. Okay. Anyway, so set current brush to current brush plus 1 mod 4 inside the key and press check. And where else do we have to change something? We need to render the mouse. So if current brush is equal to 3, not the W, 3, if the current brush is equal to 3, let's see, let's set it to the blue color, like that. And color pixels right here. If item I of grid is equal to 3, stick that in the else. If item I of grid is equal to 3, let's pick a nice bluish color to use. What color level was that? This is 55. Let's make this a bit darker. Yeah, okay. Nice, okay. so I think that should actually work. Let's see. Okay, there's the blue. Yeah, okay, perfect. So now we have a blue drawing tool. Wasn't I gonna add a way to pause and unpause the simulation at one point? Okay, I'll do this, after the water, because water isn't actually that hard. Water's gonna be an interesting challenge. But, okay. So I think that should be it. One more thing we have to do. Inside our simulate particles, go find the define simulate particles. We need a new block called simulate dash water. Simulate water, run without screen refresh, click OK. Now simulate water, it's actually pretty easy to do this. All you have to do is really just duplicate this big if condition here. Duplicate the simulate stand, just stick that underneath, because water is actually really similar to how sand behaves, which is good. So let's just quickly test if that works. Let's drag the simulate water underneath. Underneath? Should I do it underneath? That means it'll simulate the sand and then simulate the water. Yeah, that sounds good. So put the simulate water underneath the simulate sand. Okay, let's see if the water works. It doesn't seem to be working. Aha, okay. I think I know the problem. We are replacing I have previous grid with 2 instead of 3, so we need to put 3 in here instead of... So 3, put that as 3. Replace any 2s in here with 3, except for this one. So all we have to do is replace all of these with 3. Okay, that's just inside, yeah, so inside simulate water, just replace all the replace items and all the item I of grid, previous grid with 3. So this one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Yeah, okay. So I think you get the point. Okay. So let's see if that works now. Yeah, okay, great. So now the water is behaving like sand, which is, again, not what we want. We want it to flow. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to... You remember this AND condition that we put in before? We can just duplicate this whole thing here. And let's just modify this here. So, instead of I plus world width plus 1, we're going to get rid of the world width. So just get rid of the world width like that. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. Okay, so get rid of, inside this first if, get rid of the I plus, just do I plus 1 of grid. And also I minus 1 of grid. Over here, instead of I plus world width, get rid of the plus world width. Again, get rid of the plus world width. Just get rid of any plus world width here. Just get rid of all of those, yeah. And it should look something like this when you're done. Just pause, take a screenshot, whatever you want to do. Okay, so, yeah, so I actually want to test that, see if that works right now. I doubt it will work. Oh, let's get rid of these, one sec. So, let's see if that works. I don't think it'll work. Oh, okay, well... That was actually really easy then. Okay, that is water simulated. Yay, okay. Wow, okay, that was actually really easy. Okay, so what happens if we put sand on top? Ah, okay. That's a problem, because we want sand to go underneath water, not just float on top of it. Okay, how do we do that? It's actually not too hard. So inside our simulate sand, what we're going to need to do is we have to separate simulate sand to air and simulate sand to water, because so it looks a bit neater. So we're going to create a new block, simulate dash sand, and I'm going to put in brackets air, like that. So this means when it goes through air, it will do this. Click OK. And stick all of this inside the if. Leave the first if, but everything inside that, put that in the simulate sand air. And stick that right where you found it from. Okay, and now we're going to need a new one. Simulate dash sand and in brackets water. Okay, this means when it goes through water, what will it do? Run without screen refresh, click OK. Okay, so basically just duplicate this. Yeah, duplicate that whole simulate sand air, just stick that in there. Did I put... oh, okay. And inside simulate sand, make sure to put our simulate sand water block. Now, this should act just like it would. What was that? Huh? What's going on? Oh, right. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that in a second. But this should act almost exactly the same as it did before. See, water, and then sand on top. See, it still goes on top. Okay. So that's a problem. What we're going to do is, inside simulate sand water, we're going to go ahead and replace every single 0 to a 3. Because 3 is the water. So, yeah. So 3 right there. Replace that with a 3. Replace this with a 3. 3 here, 3 here. Every single 0 you see, just replace it with a 3. It's pretty simple, yeah. Okay, 3, 3, and 3. Okay, now that should actually fix it, actually. Let's see. Okay, so sand didn't break anymore, isn't broken anymore. Water isn't broken yet. Notice I said yet. And, what, huh? Hey? What? I think I just duplicated the water. Hang on. Alright, it's an embarrassingly simple fix. All we have to do, inside simulate sand, right now, we have a sand duplication glitch, we have a water duplication glitch, right now if we just pour sand, yeah, see, I just got like a whole bunch more water. All we have to do in simulate sand, swap these two. Yeah. That took forever to oh my god. Okay, but that should fix it. Let's see. So, pour some water down, put some, oh, that's not sand. Put some sand down, yeah! Okay, so now as you can see, it actually, like, goes up, over, like, on top of the sand, so it, like, kind of, like, I guess, like, displaces the water up. So that's exactly what we wanted. So, that's really good. Okay. So, this is kind of getting long. This video is kind of getting long. So, I want to quickly make a way to pause the simulation before I leave this video to you. So, inside here, all we have to do is create a new variable. Call this pause, question mark, paused, question mark. Click OK. And inside simulate particles, all we have to do is check if paused if not, paused is equal to 1. That means if it's not paused, right? Then do that thing. And inside here, if key space pressed, right? Set paused to this is actually pretty simple. All we have to do is set paused to paused minus 1 minus paused. So that would be 1, and yeah. Okay, 1 minus paused, wait until not key space pressed. Okay, that should actually work. So let's see, paused is 0 right now. It still works. Paused it. Yeah, okay, so now it pauses the whole simulation, which is nice. I actually kind of wanted to start off paused, so inside set of variables, all we have to do is set paused to 1. Perfect. Okay, so let's hide the variable, and yeah. Okay, so thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are following along pretty well. If you're having trouble, please leave it down in the comments, and I will try my best to answer it. Now, of course, I don't have all the time in the world. I can't answer every single question you have, but I will definitely try my best to answer mostly all the questions in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. And part 4 is coming out very soon. That's just gonna be tips, tricks, kind of like adding your own features. Everything like that is gonna be in part 4. Part 4 is probably gonna be the last one. Is it part 4? That's part 4, right? Part 4, right? Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, okay, so part 4, customizing, and everything like that. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, share this channel with others. If you didn't like it, do whatever you want. Okay, see you how to do stuff with Ethan, and see you next time. Bye.